Coming up on the Paper Talk today, we'll be talking about Manchester United having a bit of a fire sale. It looks like there could be 13 players, a baker's dozen amount of players leaving Old Trafford this summer. So we'll be getting into that. We'll also have a takeover update and we'll be looking at some incomings as well. Let's check it out. Jay here for Stretford, Paddock. This is the Paper Talk. As you can see, I'm outside Old Trafford and it's pretty mild, but it looks like it might start raining. I can almost feel there's a little bit of spitting. Get him in, it's spitting. We'll get straight into it. Loads of stories to get through this morning. A bit of a transfer news, also an update on the takeover, which is dragging on and on and on, but we'll be getting into all that, so make sure you are getting involved in the comments, hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel. We've just got to 700,000 subscribers on the channel. Big thank you to everyone who's shown us love and support since we took over Stretford, Paddock, and even before that when we were full-time Devils. But that doesn't mean if you haven't subscribed you shouldn't. Make sure you are hitting that subscribe button. Right, let's get into it. There's a story from Chris Wheeler in the Daily Mail about Manchester United selling, well, basically everyone. It's like there could be a real sort of fire sale going on at Old Trafford this summer with 13 players, up to 13 players up for sale. Now, on the list, you've got Jadon Sancho, 45 million. Harry Maguire, 40 million. Scott McTominay, 40 million. Martial, 25 million. Dean Henderson, he's on it twice for some reason, I don't know, but 20 million for him. Fred, 20 million. Van der Beek, 20 million. These are the sort of figures that Manchester United want to get for these players. Are they going to get 45 million for Jadon Sancho? Possibly. We paid 70 odd million for him. Are we going to get 40 million for Harry Maguire? I'm doubtful on that one. 40 million for Scott McTominay? Potentially, but again, I'm not so sure. I think we might be aiming a little bit high, but you got to aim high, I suppose. I think some of these players might end up going for less than that, if indeed we can move them on. But it looks like Manchester United are keen to move on some players because Erik ten Hag needs that for his transfer budget. If we are going to pursue some of the targets that we're being linked with, which I'll get to in a minute, he does have some sort of budget, rumoured to be around 120 million quid. Now that sounds like a lot, but when you need to buy a goalkeeper, a striker, reinforcements in midfield, potentially reinforcements in defence as well. There's talk of us signing Kim Min-jae for 52 million in a couple of weeks' time. Then you're going to need some more money, so it looks like Manchester United might have to sell to buy. On the sort of incoming front, Mason Mount looked like that was going to happen last week. Manchester United going in with a improved offer of 55 million. Chelsea rejected that, and it looks like United are walking away now. They're saying we're not going to improve that offer. However, there is a slight twist that United aren't taking that offer off the table. It is still there. Romano tweeted this, I think it was yesterday evening, saying, understand that Mason Mount's side stance remains clear. No plans to sign a new deal as things stand, so he's not looking to stay on at Chelsea. Man United now or free agent in 2024. Those are his options that he's looking at. United 55 million bid still valid, won't wait forever. Also talk of him maybe going to Bayern Munich, but he says here Tuchel big fan, but no bid talks with Bayern as of now. So it's either he stays at Chelsea and goes in the summer for Nout, or he comes to Manchester United for 55 million quid. Now I'm a bit surprised that Chelsea haven't took the offer from Manchester United. He's out of contracts in the summer. He's not had the best season. I know he's a very good player. They have an abundance of players in that position, and also they're still looking to buy other players as well. They've been linked with some more signings. They need to get some players off the books. 55 million quid for a player who's out of contract in the summer makes sense to me, but Chelsea try to play hardball, United playing hardball, and for once I think United are actually getting that right. I think that whilst Mason Mount is a talented lad, 24 years old, and we do need additions to this squad, we do need players that can come in and either start or be a good option for Manchester United. There's no point in overpaying for a player that looked like he was a bit of a bargain when it was linked with us for 40 million quid. Now it's 55. Anything above that, you think, are we getting our pants pulled down again? And we know that Manchester United invariably do. Another player that we are linked with is Adrien Rabiot. This has been going on for about a year now. However, he's out of contract soon as well, and it looks like Manchester United are going to go back in for him. We tried to get him last summer. I think it was his mum who put the kibosh on that one. She was involved in the talks, I think, with John Murtough, and she wanted more money than Manchester United were willing to pay for his wages. But there's a story in The Athletic that says Manchester United have made contact with Adrien Rabiot's representatives, I don't know if that's his mum or not, over a proposed move to the club. The 28-year-old midfielder's Juve contract expires at the end of June. but the club are attempting to convince him to sign a one-year extension. Rabiot enjoys a good relationship with Juve manager Massimiliano Allegri and was one of the team's top performers last season. We'll see what happens with that one. We know that Erik ten Hag is obviously a long-time admirer of Adrien Rabiot. Decent player, done well at Juve, had a good World Cup. There's been issues around him in the past, haven't there, about his personality and stuff, but he seems to have ironed all them out. Listen, another player that could come in and be a good option for Manchester United. We need some options. We were threadbare at the end of last season. Once Marcel Sabitzer got injured, even before that, you looked at that midfield and you thought, we're using players that we probably shouldn't be using. Donny van der Beek, it looks like he's on his way out. Scott McTominay looks like he's on his way out. Ditto Fred. We need to bring some players in, and Adrien Rabiot would certainly fit the bill. Other players that have been linked with us, Moises Caicedo. Now, this sort of came not from nowhere. We've been linked with him for a few years. We almost got him a couple of years ago, didn't we, for £5 million a year ago for £5 million. But as Manchester United always do, we waited till he was worth or cost £80 million, and then we start trying to buy him. When the Mason Mount deal looked like to be going a bit cold, the Caicedo rumours went into overdrive, and there's a few stories in various papers reporting that United are still interested in him. We'll have to go up against Chelsea, though, it would seem. It does say United are now happy for the world to know they want Moises Caicedo of Brighton. Without a doubt, he'd be an exciting arrival. I think this is in the Express, but with the club working on a strict budget this summer, it's hard to see the Ecuador International making the move, so they're saying don't know if it's going to happen. United is still saying, or we're hearing other reports in other papers that United is still in for him. One to watch, we'll have to wait and see. Could be difficult though if Chelsea go in for him. This is the thing as well, like I said earlier, Chelsea in for a lot of players. Other players as well that we're linked with, Andre Onana. It says here in the Daily Mirror, Manchester United target Andre Onana is expected to leave Inter Milan this summer as the Red Devils contemplate an offer. There was reports last week that we had open talks with the goalkeeper's representatives, so we'll have to see what happens with that one. There's also a video doing the rounds on Twitter of him scoring a goal in some sort of training ground game, which has excited a lot of people. I know he's not brought in to score goals, but the idea is, look, this guy's good with his feet. I don't know how much you can look into that, but anyway, you can go and check it out. Also, on the goalkeeper front, there's another story that was in the Mirror yesterday saying that Red Devils eye Costa swap. Manchester United are reportedly eyeing a swap deal for Porto goalkeeper Diogo Costa. So that's one to look at. And just finally, on the takeover front, the latest news on the takeover, there's lots of different reports. We know that there's been a little bit of an impasse. No one seems to know quite what's happening. Sheikh Jassim is the front runner as far as we know from the amount of reports that are indicating that. But Sir Jim Ratcliffe still very much in the hunt. There's a report in the Express here, I think this is from Jack Otway, saying that Sheikh Jassim could be about to walk into complete chaos. Manchester United takeover latest. Sheikh Jassim seems to be in pole position to buy the club despite competition from Sir Jim Ratcliffe. But he talks about there how there's so much chaotic stuff going on at the club in terms of transfers, in terms of how long it's going to take for the takeover to be put through, that Sheikh Jassim could be about to walk into all that chaos. So we'll see what happens on that front. As always, we will keep you posted, so make sure you are and subscribe. Just before I wrap up, I was as well talking earlier about Manchester United selling players and how in the past, or how we're looking to sell up to 13 players this summer. And I was just looking at the list of players that we've sold and some of our biggest sales, and it's just reminds me of how much of a shambles Manchester United have been when it comes to selling players. We never get good value for players. It always seems like we spend a lot of money on players, yet when it comes to moving players on, we take a bit of a hit. If you look at some of the biggest incomings we've had in terms of transfer fees, a lot of those have been for players we paid more for previously. So players like Romelu Lukaku, I think we took around a £25-30 million hit on him. Angel Di Maria, he's one of our top sales, and yet again we took a loss on him because we paid around 60 million for him, sold him a year later for 50 odd million. Dan James is the one that everyone cites as being a bit of a bargain, or one where we made a lot of money, and he is. I think he's number 5 on the list, but we only got 25 million for him. It's not like we sold him for 100 million quid, and he's in, I think, the top 5 sales for Manchester United, or there or thereabouts, depending on who you read. Cristiano Ronaldo is the one, obviously, we made a lot of money on because we bought him for around 40 million quid and sold him for 80 million quid. But he went on to become Real Madrid's greatest ever goal scorer, so it wasn't like they didn't get value for money. Manchester United have always been terrible at selling players. When it comes to our signings, we're willing to splash the cash on the likes of Paul Pogba, on the likes of Romelu Lukaku, Harry Maguire, other players as well who we've spent big money on. Yet, when it comes to sales, we always seem to get our pants pulled down. In some cases, as was the case with Pogba, we didn't even get any money. We just let his contract run out. So we spent, what was it, 89 million quid on him and got nought for him because we let his contract run out. It's just a shambles at Manchester United when it comes to our transfer policy. And it's something that, regardless of who the new owner comes in, needs to be addressed. Also, in other news, there's a planned protest outside the megastore tomorrow morning at 9:45. You might have seen it on social media. The 1958, you know, the campaign group, they've had a lot of protests before, ahead of games and trying to get the Glazers out. There's been a lot of good work going in on that front as well. They're planning a protest tomorrow, 9:45, outside the megastore. The hashtag is, I think, Glazers out as always, and also boycott Adidas. They're trying to hit the sponsors in order to sort of push forward the Glazers leaving Manchester United Football Club, because we all know it is dragging on. Anyway, that's it all from me. Make sure you are hitting that subscribe button. We'll be back later with a Paddock podcast. Go and check out the other videos on the channel as well. I've been Jay Motty, outside a mild Old Trafford. Thanks for watching.